What's up, my mailing list? It's good to see you all again. This week I want to talk on the subject of trust and what to do when trust is broken. If there's been lies or cheating or you've discovered that someone has been, how do you rebuild trust and is it possible? But before I do that, I wanted to update you on my life. So I just got back from Toronto this week where I had my interview for my US visa. So I got my US visa approved and I will be doing more activities and events in the future in the US because of that. So that's a big win, man. That was a stressful experience. Whew! And next, I will be speaking at Wellspring and Wanderlust Festival. So that is in October in Palm Springs. Russell Brand is keynoting, which is going to be crazy, awesome, because he's hilarious. My talk is on Is Your Relationship Killing You? All about the health impact of bad relationships or high conflict relationships and how to create healthy, health beneficial relationships. And last but not least, I'm doing a retreat November 2nd and 5th in Whistler. The link was in the email last time and it's in this one as well for both of those events. But if you want to change and learn about relationship and you want to do it quick, invest in yourself, come to this retreat. It's a deep dive in the mountains at the Fairmont Chateau Whistler. Epic place. Okay, so now that that's done, let's get to trust. So when trust is broken, I think the first part that's important to understand about that is we've now just eradicated the safety and security of the relationship. So I talk a lot about the idea of your attachment system. Your attachment system is basically a radar that is checking for the safety and security of relationships you have. It's not just in romantic relationships, it's relationships of all kinds. So you're constantly surveying, is this relationship safe? Is this relationship secure? So when there's a trust breach, the safety of the relationship is gone. It's desecrated. And in Stephen Covey talks about how there's relationship bank accounts. And when you're putting deposits by the good things you do, the compliments, the acts of service, the love languages, right? But when you do something like lie or snap or do something that impacts the health of the relationship, you're taking a withdrawal. So any sort of lying, infidelity, anything like that is a huge withdrawal. I think the next qualifying thing is when we're talking in the context of infidelity or in the context of a breach of trust, is it's so easy to say to focus on the content. That's what we do is we get hyper focused on the content. You cheated or you lied, but I always want people to understand what's below it. Why did they do it? What's going on in the culture of the relationship? That is the way that they're expressing themselves. Because when people cheat, and I'm going to add a qualifier here, if someone's a serial cheater and cheats all the time and lies all the time, that is not what we're talking about here. So let's just put that to another side. If that's happening all the time, like any addict, your own healing for any addict is your own healing. If you're with an addict, someone who's a cheater is addicted to that behavior, it's about your own healing. So it's about your own boundaries and what you need to protect yourself from that experience. But when we talk in the context of someone cheating and it's out of character, or it seems, so often what happens is people will cheat to leave a relationship because they don't want to actually break up. And it's too scary to do that, so they cheat. I know, it's a sabotage and a destruction technique. The other one you got to look at is you don't have to leave a relationship to leave a relationship. So I wrote this article called Why I Wish You Would Cheat on Me, and it was how we often wish that someone will cheat or leave because we're afraid to have to do it. And if they cheat, then we have reason for that to leave where we're not seen as the bad person. So we'll subconsciously and sometimes consciously orchestrate where we're creating a relationship environment that's so not desirable that they have no choice but to. We've dried up all forms of intimacy. There's no touch, there's no connection. And then we're mad at them when they leave and they cheat because that was our plan all along. It's a very tricky mind thing. I put the link for the article in the comments below and so you'll get to see that. So it's fascinating because when I wrote that article, people wrote me and said, I've actually wished that my partner had died. And so it's crazy that we think that's actually a better idea than actually just ending a relationship. That shows you how much emphasis we put on a relationship failing if you end one, that you're seen as a failure or afraid of commitment. So when trust is broken though, let's get back to the subject at hand, I talk a lot. When trust is broken, you have to look at how do I create safety and security in the relationship? What do I need to create safety and security in the relationship? Remember, as the person whose trust was breached, your number one goal is to learn to trust yourself, to stay in trust with yourself. So when there's a violation of safety and security, and let's say it's in the context of cheating or texting with someone or whatever it is, it's to say, I need to see your phone. I need you to block that person. I need you to write them and tell them that you will no longer be in contact with them, and that's not okay, and that you're working on your relationship with me. And you can give whatever request is reasonable or unreasonable for you. Now, the other person has the right to say yes or no to those requests. And you have to decide, is this a boundary? If they do not say yes to this, am I willing to still invest in this? If they're not saying yes to therapy, if they're not saying yes to coaching, if they're not saying yes to personal growth, am I willing to actually go through this? And you have to get so fucking honest with yourself. Because if you say yes to going on when they have not agreed or continue to lie, then you will not trust yourself. And remember, this is, you don't trust them, but then you end up not trusting yourself as a consequence of not honoring your boundaries. Now remember, boundaries are flexible. I need to read your phone. I need to access to all your social media. I need this, this, and this. As time goes by and you rebuild the trust and you rebuild the basis of the relationship and the foundation of the relationship, that line can move. I no longer need to read your phone. I no longer need access to your social media. Those things will start to move, and you have to start to see that you're filling the cup back up. You're putting deposits back into the emotional bank account. As the person who violated the trust or was lying or really discovering why. Why did you express that way? What do you really need? Can you get your needs met? Is that actually something available in the relationship for you too? So there's so much to be learned from breaches of trust, not only about the person who breached the trust, but also about ourselves. Because for me, a lot of the learning in those experiences is that there's often red flags way before. So whenever there's that action, right, the cheating or the lying or the is I go, okay, where earlier did the person who was cheated on or lied to, where did they take a left when they should have taken a right? And you don't just have to do that in the context of relationship with infidelity or cheating or lying. Do it in the context of all your relationships. If any relationships that have ended, always look back and go, where did I know earlier? Where could I have taken a left when I should have taken a right? So that is my advice on rebuilding trust, is evolving the safety and security of the relationship over time, having really great boundaries about it and what you need as the person who's rebuilding the trust, and moving towards creating the type of relationship you want. You have to be so engaged in that and motivated to do that. And remember, keeping them is not the outcome. It's, can you learn to communicate yourself, and can you express what you truly need? Can you have boundaries that are indestructible? Because if you have a boundary that your consequence to you don't enforce, then your boundaries are merely suggestions. So there's always opportunity to learn in relationships. There's always opportunity to be better. So I send you nothing but love. I would love, if you guys want to work on any of this stuff, we're going to dive deep in at the retreat. There's still 3 spots left. So please fill out the application, join me and my buddy Mike, and I love all of you. And hopefully I'll see you at Wellspring to have such a wonderful day.